Everybody with me? I think I got it figured out. I think we're live. Old Pastor Ed, as soon as I get one technology figured out, he switches up the game and throws a new technology at us, and then we got to try to figure that out. So I think we're live. I think we're hot. I think we're going. So comment if you can see me and you can hear me, so I know I'm not just talking to myself, looking into my iPad for nothing. Oh, I think we got a good one for tonight. It's a good topic anyway. Oh, now I got volume coming out of my phone. So, okay, Candy Langston said hi. Nina Stump said hi. So apparently, at least a couple people can hear me. So that's cool. Well, as you can see, I did pull dad duty, but I didn't pull dad duty with Kylene at soccer. I pulled dad duty with Kinsley at home. So I'm back in my dining room, and I got Jesus and the crew up there back behind me like I typically do. So I'm a little more comfortable, a little more set up, not trying to do it from the Jeep or in the semi parking lot, on the side of the highway kind of thing. So hopefully this will turn out better. We won't have no semi background noise, and we won't have just wolfed down some sandwiches and trying to get through a devotional. So we got a good topic for tonight too, so I'm excited about the topic, so hopefully it goes well. I got a lot out of it. Hopefully in the process of me sharing, hopefully you get a lot out of it, so it'll be worth it for all of us. All right, I'm going to switch back over to my devotional, get off of Facebook. We'll wait a minute, maybe or two. Usually try to wait till 9:05. Let everybody maybe running a minute late jump on and get after it. The title for tonight is Making the Most of Today. Making the Most of Today. So I thought it's a pretty spot on title for what we're going to talk about. I thought it was pretty applicable, and seems to kind of fit. It fits all of our lives all the time, I'm sure, if we're really honest, but it seems to fit my life a lot, like right now. Trying to make the most of today, trying to fit the most into the day, but trying to be smart about, responsible about, a good steward with how much time I have and what I try to get done. So that's kind of what we're going to do tonight, making the most of today. So hopefully it'll be good. I got a lot out of it. It got my wheels turning. I usually start reading these on like Monday morning. We have our staff meetings Monday morning, and so usually sometime in that, when staff meeting gets over, whatever, I start kind of thinking on and churning on, what is my devotional for Thursday night? What's it going to look like? Kind of what the topic is and all that good stuff. So I really liked the title, and I really liked the devotional for tonight. So I think it'll be good. So it's 9:05. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We'll see what we can pull out of it. And then we'll make one small announcement. We'll pray. And then we'll get out of here. So, all right. Making the most of today. It says, our direction is not to be back, but to be forward. Right? Not to be back, but to be forward. Few acts are as futile as sitting back down and reminiscing and just churning over and living in kind of the glory days of the past, right? The good old days, everybody calls them. There's not much bigger waste of time. Like, it's fine to think back to it and enjoy some of your past successes and all that, but some people just revel in and just kind of sit down and live in those moments, and they don't ever move forward from them. Like, they're always living their best life back 20 years ago and not really trying to do anything about today. So it says, few acts are as futile as sitting back and doing those kind of things, right? And it says, we cannot turn the clock back. We cannot bring back the better days. And it is not necessary or desirable that we should. And then he says, if by means of some fantastic time machine, so it sounds like several of the movies have been made, right? So it says, if by means of some fantastic time machine, so I instantly think of Marty McFly and Back to the Future, right? That's what my 90s kid brain goes to. So as if by means of some fantastic time machine, one of us was permitted to go backward and visit some favorite period of the past, he would in all probability find that experience extremely disappointing. So just quick, throw this out here. Don't stay on it too long. But if you had the ability to jump in a time machine and go back, what period of your life or what period of history would you go back to, and why? Right. So just kind of think on that. So it says, in all probability, we would find that experience extremely disappointing. It said he would find himself a kind of anachronism, wholly out of place and thoroughly unhappy. So an anachronism, I didn't know this word before I read this, so I had to Google it and research it. An anachronism is a thing that is chronologically out of place, right? And so a good kind of maybe picture for us for an anachronism would be when you walk into an old farmhouse and there's the old rotary style phone. Everybody know what I'm talking about? You pick the phone up and you hold the thing and you turn the dial and you got to wait for it to go back. Like, I'm just barely old enough to remember those and been seeing those on some people's houses that I knew. And so that's kind of that idea. Like, if you were to walk into a house now with your $1,000 iPhone in your hand and you see the old rotary style phone hanging on the wall, that would be an anachronism. That would be kind of a picturesque idea of that, right? And so it's wholly out of place and it would be thoroughly unhappy. So if it had feelings, it would be unhappy. But so it doesn't fit. Like, 8 tracks. 8 tracks were the bomb when they first came out. Well, then when cassettes came out, 8 tracks were out of place, right? And then CDs, and now, the next thing, MP3s, and now like live streaming music, right? And so CDs now, we would be so unsatisfied if all we had was CDs, right? And so they don't fit anymore. They had their time is gone, we've moved on. So it says, to each one, it is given to him to occupy his own spot in history. He must, like King David, do the will of God by serving his own generation. It is in his own day that he must meet God in a satisfying encounter. It is in his day today, and not in some pensive yesterday, that he must do 3 things. He must explore the riches of God's divine grace. That's important. Do his allotted work. That's also important. And win his crown. That's eternally important, right? So those are kind of 3 heavy hitters, right? Must explore the riches of God's divine grace, do God's allotted work that he has for him, and win his crown of glory. This next part cracked me up. When I read this to Ed, like this part just cracked me up. So it says, psychologists attribute certain abnormal mental conditions to an unconscious desire to escape the responsibilities of adult life by returning to the quiet and security of the prenatal state. I was teasing Ed, and I thought the first time that I read that, I thought, well, that's a good definition of millennials, right? That's a good definition of like kids these days. Psychologists attribute abnormal mental conditions to unconscious desires to escape the responsibilities of adult life by returning to the quiet and security of prenatal state. I don't know why I found that so funny. Then it says, our habit of trying to recapture the spiritual glory of some better time by going backwards creates a suspicion that we have lost the will to fight and are retiring to a safer spot behind lines where we can sit down in peace to dream of armies defeated and battles won. I had 2 conversations today. Today was a weird day. I had a whole bunch of plans for today, and they all fell through for one reason or another. And so today ended up being like the weirdest day. And I ended up running into 2 guys today from 2 really different walks of life. And we ended up having like the same kind of conversations. And some of it kind of wrapped itself into and around this. And the thought of the day, I'm going to read the thought of the day. And it just really was like right in the middle of all that. And it says, today is an opportunity to know God and to serve Him. We no longer have yesterday and may have left few or no tomorrows. So think about that. That is really true. Like, we don't like to think about our lives in the world that way, but it says we no longer have a yesterday and we may have little or no tomorrows left. Like, we don't know what tomorrow brings, right? I was thinking about that today and talking with these guys. We were talking about kids going back to school. So they're both dads in our community, guys I know through the kids and all those things. And we were talking about the craziness of the COVID world and how our kids are struggling, struggling mightily, some of them, with just not having anything for sure out in front of them. Like Kylene, soccer, she has no games scheduled. They've been practicing and practicing and practicing with no end in sight. Like, there's no game scheduled, so they don't have any end goal or something they're going towards. And now we've just found out this week that school is really up in the air for sure. Like, they sent out a thing to us parents in the Flushing district to ask us, would we be cool if our kids were fully online? Do they want to go 2 days a week? Do they want to go 3 days a week? And it's just this whole idea of yesterdays and tomorrows, right? We know what happened yesterday. We don't know how many tomorrows we have left. We don't know what, if we do have a tomorrow left, what tomorrow holds. And so at the end of that, it says this. It says, but today is uniquely God-given. And it just reminded me of my day today. Like, I had all today planned out, and I had all of tomorrow planned out, like professionally wise, like work wise and stuff. And then, I build my personal schedule around that, And so my typical day, I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I have a little bit of coffee, a little bit of breakfast. I go downstairs and work out. I get done with that, get around, and I go to work for the day. And then I try to figure out what time I'm going to get done so that I know when I come home how much I can do with the kids and how much I can do with Mindy and all those things, right? And so when your whole day gets blowed up, it really kind of throws you off, right? And it said at the end of that, it said, but today is uniquely God-given. And it just reminded me, like, I figured out that my day today and tomorrow was blowed up yesterday afternoon. Like, I just found out yesterday afternoon my day was going to be blowed up. God had known that forever, right? God had known that long, long, long before I did. And so it just had me kind of in that place where God knew I was going to have those conversations with those two guys that I met today, that I seen today, that I had no intentions on coming across those guys and meeting those guys. But that was what God had for me today. Some people will call them divine appointments, right? And so one of them was with the guy that lives right next door to us, my neighbor. I don't have a super close relationship with him. We don't talk very often. But I was able to talk with him for probably 45 minutes in the side yard today. And we talked about kids, we talked about money, we talked about church, we talked about jobs, we talked about being dads, we talked about all kinds of stuff, right? And so I was able to share with him a little bit about, what I do and why I do it, and, the contracting thing and the part-time pastor thing and all those things, right? And so it was just a crazy day. And then when I remembering back to this and kind of filtering through that, it was amazing just kind of how it all fit together. But just that idea that today is uniquely God-given. And then it rolls right into this. And this is me to a nutshell 90% of the time. It says, my tendency, Lord, is to look back or to look forward. In doing so, I often miss the strategic value of today. Thank you for this day, Lord. And so when I saw that, and I often miss the strategic value of today, that is so me. I get so caught up in what happened yesterday. How can I extract a lesson out of that? How can I learn from the good and take from the bad? Which those are fine, right? That's a good thing to do as long as we don't obsess on it. But then I'm always looking forward. Like, I think that's part of our culture. Like, I think that's part of the enemy's plan is to I'm always looking forward. I'm always looking to the next fun thing or the next big thing. And I get so caught up in looking at the next thing. When's my next vacation, or when's my next, weekend we're going to go do something, or when's my next event, or when's the next event at church, or any of those things, that I get so caught up in those things that I forget that each day God has something uniquely planned for me. Like each day God has a strategic plan for Jason, for his role in his kingdom, right? And I get so caught up in what I want to do and what I've got planned and how I want to live and what I want my life to look like and what I want the world to look like and all those things, that I often don't spend time asking God what he wants of me, what he wants for me, what he wants for my family. You know, what is the purpose of me being at Westside now, today, in this moment, right? So I get so busy in yesterday's and tomorrow's that I lose track of today's. Does that make sense? Am I wording it right? I just feel like I've started to purposely, kind of the last few months, purposely kind of get up every morning and just kind of settle in and say, all right, this is what I have planned. How much room do I have for what God has planned? Do I have any room in my day for what God has planned? Or do I even have the ability, maybe even the faith, if you want to put it that way, do I even have the ability or the faith that if God was to ask me to set my things aside for today, do I have the faith in him and his strategic plan for me today, that I can set my things aside and say, okay, God, your will today, my will be set aside. I have confidence in the fact that what you have planned for me is so much far better off for me or for somebody else than what I had planned. You know, usually my plans revolve around me making money, me having time, me spending time with the kids, me spending time with Mindy, me going to do something fun, me. To be honest, oftentimes my todays get so wrapped up in me that I forget that God probably has something to do with me outside of me, honestly. Like, I'm not here just for me. I'm not here just to consume good, to consume times, to consume products, to consume money. I'm here as part of God's plan to help reach other people and to help build the kingdom. And each and every one of you is the same thing. Like, I'm not anything special. I'm just little old Jason Brado in Flushing, Michigan, trying to do his thing, right? Trying to be humble, trying to be honest, trying to just be faithful. You know, he has that same plan for each one of us. And I just think we have to be super conscious of, especially in the times that we live in, like, times are crazy, right? Like, crazy. And if we're not conscious of what we're doing in the moment today, if we get too hung up in what's happening in the past, or if we get too caught up in we're trying to do in the future, we miss today. And today is only one day, right? Today's only today once. And so if we don't get out of today what God has designed for us to get out of it, then we've lost, like we've missed it. And that's sad, you know, to think of, I'm so busy trying to get here that I miss here. And so I'm not going to get there where I want to get to, or where God wants me to get to, if I don't get here and here and here in the process. Then I'm just spinning my wheels and I get caught up in the mess, and I've been there many times, and it stinks. Just to kind of be churning your wheels in the mud and not getting anywhere, right? So, I don't know. That's what I got out of it today. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense to you. Hopefully that maybe kind of resonated with you a little bit. Just kind of this idea of each morning, you know, that's kind of that old saying, every once in a while you'll see it on Facebook. You know, if God woke you up this morning, he's not done with you yet, right? And so that's kind of each morning I kind of wake up with trying to kind of wrap my mind and my day around that of, okay, you woke me up this morning, you must have a plan for me. Here's what I got. How does yours fit into that with me? And if it don't, am I brave enough, am I faithful enough to let yours trump mine? Or some days I do that. Some days I'm stupid and headstrong and I'm a big knucklehead, and I just plow through with my day and set God's things aside, and my day doesn't work out very well. You would think by now that I'd figure that out and I learned my lesson, but I just haven't. So, I don't know. Hopefully y'all got something from that. I love that thing today. Just be present in today. Don't be so focused with yesterday and don't be so in a hurry to get to tomorrow. Just enjoy today. Like, enjoy your family, enjoy your kids, enjoy your wife, enjoy your job, enjoy your friends, enjoy the time that you have. Nothing's guaranteed, nothing's promised, right? And so just enjoy where you're at. Enjoy being in God's will and in God's plan, and just trying to extract and squeeze as much out of it as you possibly can. So that's what I got out of it. Hopefully you got something along that line, or got something out of my ramblings anyway. So want to do two things. I want to pray real quick, and then I also, before we pray, I want to kind of share something heartfelt with you real quick. I think Ed had talked about this earlier in the week, but on Sunday, we're going to take up a special offering for Wade Morris Ministries. I don't vouch for a lot of people. I especially don't vouch for a lot of people kind of in Christian circles in the church world, right? I'll vouch for Wade. Wade is a good dude. Wade is a solid dude. Wade is a faithful dude. He's a dude that I would roll with, right? And so, I've seen, the first time I came across Wade was when I was leading the youth group at Westside, and he came for, maybe not the first time, but one of the first times. He came for YEC, our Youth Evangelism Conference in the fall. And I was there, and with the kids, and Mindy was there, and my girls was there, right? And Wade took the time, and he really spoke into Kelsey's life and talked to Kelsey and set aside with Kelsey. And he didn't know, who I was, nothing special. He didn't know Kelsey was my daughter, any of that stuff. Like, he just, but that's him. Like, you see him do those kind of things all the time. He has a special spot in his heart for youth, for people in general, but for sure for Westside and for us. And so, Wade's a good dude. And, he's, I think Ed shared on here a little bit, but, he's financially, some of them guys that do what Wade does, he doesn't have any money coming from anywhere else. And so if he doesn't book shows, if he doesn't book speaking engagements and things, he doesn't make money. He doesn't have a church backing him up. So I would just ask that you would think about it and pray about it, and just ask God what he would have you to give. If anything, maybe it's nothing, but just ask God what he would have you to give to Wade and Wade Morris Ministries. I just think he's a good dude, and he's doing God's work, and he's out there, killing it. And I just can't even wrap my mind around how many youth and how many people's lives are different, how many people's eternities are different because of the faithfulness of Wade and what he does, and he just is humble, and he just sets himself aside and does his thing, and he's just an awesome dude. So I just ask that you pray about it, and then come Sunday morning, we're going to take an offering this Sunday at Westside for him, and so whatever we could give, on Sunday morning will go directly to Wade, and I know he'll be thankful for it. Obviously, he'll be blessed by it. Hopefully, he'll be blown away by the amount of money we come up for him. I would really love to be able to throw a big number at him, not just because it's a big number, but just as proof to him that we at Westside see him and what he's doing, and we love him, and we love his faithfulness, and we just know he's obedient and is just doing God's work and doing what God's asked him to do. So that's it. So just come Sunday, ready to give whatever you can give. That'll be awesome, right? All right, let's go to the Lord in prayer, and then we'll be out of here. Father, I thank you for your goodness, and I thank you for your grace. I thank you for everybody that's on here tonight watching, and I'm thankful for the people who will get on and watch this sometime in the future. God, I just pray that each and every one of us who know that you are for us and you are with us, and that, you know our past, and you know our futures, and you have a plan for us each and every day. And just try to help us to maximize who we are to you, who we are in your kingdom, and what we're going to do for you and with you, God. I just pray that you would help us to figure out where you're at, what you're doing, and how we could join in with you, as a person, as a church, and all those kind of things. God, I just pray that you would be with Christopher Moyer as he continues to walk the path of getting better post-surgery. I pray that you would be with the Volker family as they are down in Alabama mourning the loss of their mom and their grandma. I just pray that you would comfort them, that you'd be with them, and that they would know that Westside's there with them, and that we love them, and that we know that they're hurting, And we just hope that they have safe travels and that everything will go well, and that we're just with them and praying for them, and that just hope everything will go well. God, I just pray that you would be with the church this week, that you would be with Pastor Ed as he prepares to bring the message on Sunday morning. I just pray that we would come Sunday with open ears, with open minds and open hearts to the message that you have given Ed to deliver to us. God, I just pray that you would be with Westside, that you would just allow us to see you for who you are, to be with you the way you are, and just to join in with you where you are and what you're doing in our community, in our area. God, I just pray that we would be cognizant of our past, enjoy the victories, learn from the defeats, but just be present in today and be prepared to move forward tomorrow. God, we love you and we thank you for all that you do for us. In your Son, Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. All right, guys. Peace out. We'll see you Sunday morning, 10:45. We'll still have our mask area. If you want to sit in the mask-only area, we're still going to have that up. If you want to get in the sanctuary, you can do your thing in there too. So hopefully we'll see you 10:45. And we love you. Thankful for you. God bless.